Hi, Facebook. I'm Ellie Frost. Happy Wednesday. Whew. Feeling in the vibes today. Definite energy changes the quality of our results, right? Definite energy. Definite energy is everything. I've taught it for so many years. I know in my life, it's the things that I got definite at. Absolutely definite. That the world had to come and meet me there. I can remember, so I went self-employed in my first business in, well, 2012, at the beginning of 2012. And I had a type of client in mind at the time, and I wanted on average 10K a month retainers for that client. And there was 3 months between me leaving my job, kind of healing and reclimatizing, about 3 months before I got started the flood of clients in the agency that were the caliber that I wanted, where I was only working a day a week for that, really. Um, but the quality of what I was doing was right. The money was right for what I was offering. But in that interim period, it didn't look like it was working. I didn't have a ton of savings at the time because I was a shareholder in the business that I'd been running. So I'd taken the money as shares. Like, I'd had a high salary, but I had a high lifestyle, and I didn't see myself leaving that job actually. But my soul was calling me otherwise, and I was very definite. I was very aligned. I knew what it should be. So I was willing to hold the energy and hold out. And I had things that came up, opportunities, invitations, but they were less than what I knew was aligned. So I said no, and I said no literally on the edge, which is often what we get, where it didn't look like I was going to pay my mortgage, didn't look like I was going to pay my bills, and all of a sudden, like, it all flooded in at once. But it was like it felt like one of the last moments. It doesn't have to be at one of the last moments, but I had to have a strength of conviction because the universe is responding to all of our energy, right? But if you want a quantum leap, it's when you sustain a definite energy for something else stronger than you sustain the energy for what's going on around you, the fears, the doubts, the worries, the lack of evidence, right? The fear can be there, but the quality of the definite energy, decision, and desire has to be stronger. I feel like when we get a lot of challenges coming up, that's inviting us to strengthen our energy because there's a couple of things in this. One is, I truly believe inside of us, we all know the answers. I truly believe if you're looking for people, if you're in my world, you're probably a visionary. You're probably a leader. You're on a spiritual path. It's more to you than just how do I make money in the world. It's about how do I change the game? How do I express myself? How do I be fully expressed and monetize my arts? How do I do things in ways that fulfill me, that has the fluidity for me to expand and grow, right? Those answers are within you. People like me pull those answers out of you rather than try and give you a fix. But when we feel in any kind of fear, uncertainty, discomfort, we're looking for someone to tell us rather than draw it out of us. That's why I do work on all the levels. I work on a spiritual level. I'm an excellent healer and a channel, but I've had a fuck ton of business experience. I've worked in the corporate advisory world for the biggest brands on the planet, some of them, the household name brands, the people who are game changers like Condé Nast, who own Vogue and Tatler, or big hotel brands, big players, as well as personality-led brands, celebrities, people who are making money from sharing who they are, right? And the reason I love them is because it's the same work I do, and that's why I came online to do with other entrepreneurs. But it's the same navigation thing. It's about more than just. It's about doing something that's a fuller expression of someone's vision. It's about doing it your way. It requires a level of definite energy no matter what, that this is who I am. I put my stake in the ground. The world's gonna have to work around me on this, right? And it takes balls. It really does take balls. It's like anything that can wobble you only gets presented because you've got to strengthen your power. You won't get the wobbles when you're so much more definite. Like Steve Jobs talks about the most successful people he believes are the most persistent, and they're kind of the most delusional. Why do you have to be a tiny bit delusional as a visionary? Because the world's got to work around you. I've done the most extraordinary quantum leaps in my own life, but it's when I got so definite. Sometimes I needed the world to push me hard, so I said no to everything that wasn't aligned. But there's a much quicker way. And what I lead my clients through is being ahead of our expansion, which means I don't need so many wobbles. I don't need to be pushed. I don't need to be pushed to my edges, because I'm seeking them anyway. And I'm actually leaning into expansion in a different way. So I don't need pain to push me. As visionaries, we know what's out of alignment for us. And when we're asking questions and we're feeling confused, we're not digging deep enough. We're not digging deep enough into our essence, into what we really know. We're like pretending there's something outside of us. We're pretending that we don't have what it takes inside of us. We're looking to fix something that doesn't often need to be fixed. Not that there's not healing and stuff to release required. Sure, there is. But what we really want is to claim our vision. What we really want is to claim what we want. What we really need is the balls to do it. We really, and like what's really fascinating to me, and the reason I've opened the year experience, and you can do 6 months or a year, maybe 6 months, but like it's because of this quality of energy. What I've noticed in my whole career online and in the consultancies is that fixing a gap isn't sustainable. There's so many people that I've worked with in certain ways, and I've known that we could always go further, you know what I mean, if they could sustain the energy. And then people always come back into my world. That's been done since the last 10 years. People will always come back in. But like if they'd stayed in, I know that it would have been quicker for them, because I notice it. Like I offered the year experience on the membership, and the trajectory, the amount of accumulated results that happens and doesn't tail off is so different when you're held in a container consistently for a decent amount of time, when you get definite and you claim your spot there and you go for it. The beauty of what I do is it's holistic. We're doing the spiritual work, we're doing the energetic work, and I've got I can use my channel for the business development, as well as the years I've had advising the biggest personal brands and household name brands, you know, on their strategy. Because the reason I love the innovation projects with them was because it's not a one size fits all. They are iconic. They are change makers. They are needing to bespoke something their way. They're not just looking for what works, you know. And actually the technical side of running ads or doing that stuff, if that's appropriate for you, isn't what I work with my clients on. They hire someone for that. But actually the positioning, the who you are, the definite ability to lead and receive your vision, because a vision is moving in consciousness. So you lead the vision and you receive new aspects of it as you go. And that's a dance, right, that I help people with while we make the expansive moves, while we keep our energy aligned, while we keep ourselves in the game, while we know the next move every single time, while we iron out the kinks as we go. That's how we get massive momentum. But it's completely deep work. It's not just, I'm just going to, surface level this. This is for people who, they know who they fucking are at core. It hasn't quite happened yet, right? I always say, like, what I've noticed in my experiences, I'm either working with people who've got massive success, already got like a huge amount of impact, or they're just at not at the beginning, but they keep failing, because they're often either at one or two areas, right? They're the visionaries. They've either broken through or they haven't broken through. What they haven't done is just, because they've got something unique to offer, they haven't been okay just in the middle bit of just in-betweening. Just, you know, they don't do the settling. They need to express themselves. They are artists. They are leaders. They have got not just a different thing to bring to the world, but a different way. They can see they can see things other people can't. They come to elevate consciousness. They've come to pave a new way, and they're on the journey of that, right? But there's a way that you can move your energetic to be that person, and that I can show you like quicker than you think, right? Because everything you've done to align yourself up until now counts. I was having a conversation this morning, and I teach some of this in my Visionary to Visionary course, but the point of it was that as visionaries, a lot of things can see fragmented. You can think, well, like for me, had this with these really high end people, and I love working online with people at different stages. How does that fit together? Well, it does for my biggest vision because I know what it's about. But I was saying today that Steve Jobs, in his one of his speeches, said, you know, when he dropped out of university, he did a calligraphy course, and he didn't know at the time what calligraphy had to do with anything in terms of, you know, what he was going to create in the world. But of course, when Apple computers launched, the font type, you know, the fact that they had these amazing font types was exactly what changed the game for them. It made sense in hindsight, and he followed his flow. And being able to follow our flow, trust ourselves, lean into that, really understand and get very definite about the pieces we do know, while being able to follow the pieces we don't, and implementing as we go. Because for visionaries, the whole thing slows down, and the abundance and fluidity seizes up when we don't implement as we go. It's very important to stay fluid with this. Otherwise, we can sit behind and try and work it all out rather than keep being in an action, being in a flow with it. That's very important. We've got to be sourcing from consciousness and actualizing in the real world, but we do want it to do it in an aligned way. But it has to come from this definite decision, this definite energy. Not I'm testing the world to see if I'm allowed, not I'm seeing what people think and if they'll let me, not I'm comparing myself to other people and trying to see if maybe I'm at that, or maybe I'm that, or maybe I'm that. It comes from within first. The process I give you in Elevate You gets you into you first at a deep level, like really gets you into you first. Then you can, and in that program, in that course, that immersion, we get into the right offerings, products and services for you. It's a game changer. And it will cut out the need for so many of these quick fixes and magic gimmicks that people are trying to pull into, because it's the roadmap. At that core level, you'll know what your messaging is about. You'll know what the right offerings are, but you'll also know this definite thing that it's really about for you, and how to navigate that game, how to then go out in that journey, how to stand by what you know with definite energy, that what you're standing by is right. It just makes sense. You'll understand the fragmented pieces that seemed a little bit, how do I make sense of all these aspects of myself? You'll really see how it's always been about the same thing at core. And that's what I bring you into in your visionary essence and into the heartbeat of it. But beyond that, it's like, if you're getting like mixed results, if you're getting ups and downs, it's because your energy is not definite. You're flip-flopping. You're asking the universe, or, you know, the external energy to confirm it for you rather than taking control. Right? And the quantum leaps come when we decide. We decide uncircumstantially. We decide no matter what the pressure. We decide no matter what the external is. We decide what we get to do, be, and have. We decide who we are. We claim that spot. We align with that, right? And the universe has to concede. It's a fascinating thing. And all the challenges are just a little bit of like a calibration of our power. Okay, can you hold it through this? Okay, you're not quite strong enough there. So I'm going to turn the heat up, and I'm going to see if you can hold it. And if you're going to say yes to it. Because when we're not getting things flooding in, we're not fully saying yes to who we are. We're still trying to find out if we're allowed. We're trying to find out if we're on track. Whereas this doesn't come externally, it comes totally internally. I know who I am. I know what I came for. I know I'm the one that's meant to do this, right? I also know, you'll also know inside of you, you align pricing. You'll actually know, like, I can get you there. But once we get all the blocks and all the shit out of the way, you know this stuff inside. You're born for it because it's who you are, right? And so we're not here to test the universe. We're not here to ask permission. We're not. It's not like the offerings and the products and services are kind of like ways in which we can expand and elevate and like see what we enjoy and want to grow into. That's all innovation. But we're not experimenting at the heart of who we are, what we came for. That piece we have to claim. That's the work we do at Elevate You. It's also on the one-on-one. It's going to be a whole. It combines. It does combine the work I've done in my agencies with like top brands on overall strategic business development, as well as the energetic and spiritual work. So contact me about that. Get definite in your energy. Now, it's not a thing to panic and go, I'm not definite, I'm not sure. It's not that. It's just, how definite am I? And if I'm not definite, I've got to come into more of that. And if I don't, it doesn't matter. As long as I stay aligned with the vision, the universe will keep giving you things to push you into alignment. But the way to do it smoother without so much disruption and chaos is I just claim it anyway. then I don't need the big challenges to see if I'll hold my power beyond them. You know, I just go. So if those things are interesting, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day and I'll speak to you soon.